Welcome to the MD Ruther Show. Here is your host, MD Ruther.
Welcome back to the Andy Ruther Show. That is me, nasally Andy Ruther. Got a bad cold, sinus, whatever. It's like our whole house. So I've been congested for weeks, and doesn't help when it's in the teens outside and all these cold days, and it's just not going away. The whole fam's got it. Me and the girls, and me and my 3 chicas. It's weird living with 3 girls. Like when I think about it, I'm like, I live with 3 chicks. It's probably gonna get weirder as they get older. Just like all women, all girls. Gonna have to offset it with another dog, right? Like at some point, another male, like bringing a male dog, get a little testosterone in here. Gonna have to do that at some point because all these women and it's just you know how it is. You know how you girls are. You know how you are. The 3 girls listening. You know how you are. So anyway, we're battling that. Shout out to my Dr. Nosebot. It's been a game changer, man. It's been a game changer for Isla and Molly, that little device that I dropped $135 on, which for me is a lot to spend on something for a kid, and it just suctions the snot and boogers right out of their nose. It's a little device. You charge it, and then it's got a filter, and you just boom. You put some saline up in their nose. It's pretty amazing. It's great for a baby. It's got different little types of filters to suction the nose, and it's been clutch. Here's the difference between Isla and Molly. Isla didn't get her first runny nose or boogers, any of that. She didn't get that until she went to daycare. Molly got it like first week, second week. Isla was in a bubble. Molly has got to be around Isla, who's in daycare. As you guys know, I call it the Wuhan lab. So she's bringing all those germs home, all that disease and filth and bacteria. Dude, there's a kid in Isla's daycare who goes barefoot. I mean, just savage. It's savage behavior, in my opinion. Barefoot, no shoes, no socks. You know, some of the kids like to take their shoes off at school. Barefoot in a daycare? Absolute savage behavior right there. I walked in today, so it was snowing a bunch this morning today. It was 15 degrees out, and it was snowing. And you know when it snows, you're bringing in all that nastiness like I was talking about last episode, just the grime and the dirt and just the filth of the slush. So everybody's kind of tracking that in. You know, we're all walking in. I got snow boots on in the morning, and we're all bringing that into the room. We're all bringing that into room 5 where Isla is now. Shout out to my girl. She upgraded. She turned 2 over the weekend, and she's now in a new room. But anyway, all that stuff is in there. It's all in there. That slush and like that wet, like you don't want to stay. He's walking around barefoot. Like, dude, we're not at the beach. What are you doing? No, I guess he doesn't like shoes. Apparently, he doesn't want to put on shoes. He doesn't want to put on socks. It's just kind of barbaric behavior. But whatever, you know. If it works, that's the thing you learn as a parent. If it works, people like you go in with one thing and then you start doing another thing. You're like, this works. Like, I didn't think I'd be so consumed by poop and vomit and boogers and all that. Like, you don't think about it. Which, by the way, Isla pooped in the bathtub again. Not that you guys care. She did it again since last episode. So that's fun. Brittany was in there for that one. I just did the same thing. She had a couple floaters. I just grabbed it with my bare hands, threw it in the toilet. She's like, that's so disgusting. She's all repulsed. I said, not as disgusting as letting it float around in the bathtub and toys and all the stuff that she is in the bath. Like, that's way more disgusting. Like, you got to do what you got to do. Man up. But seriously, stop pooping in the bathtub, girl. I'm done dealing with that. She turned 2 over the weekend, which was nice. We went to her parents, had a little spaghetti dinner. It flies by though, man. I tell you what, it flies by. It flies by. I can't believe she's 2. Molly turned a month old last week or yesterday, and I'm like, man, I got a 2-year-old, I got a 1-month-old. Times are a flying by. Speaking of flying, what is up with all these plane crashes? For the first time in my life, I don't want to fly. And I already had apprehension. Not that I was ever really worried about the crashes and those things. It's more of a control issue with me. That's what they say, people who don't like to fly. It's control. And I know that because I'm a controlling person. I like to be in control. That's why I like to drive. That's why I struggle sometimes with my kids because I'm not in control of their behavior. But there was another one, man. There was one today. There was a small plane today before we even get to the one that happened in Canada. Wasn't there a plane crash today? Let's pull up the old Twitter, the old X. I'm calling it X a little more. I'm not gonna lie. I didn't think I'd ever do that. I just like gave up. I'm just like, I'm gonna call it X. Where's that plane crash? Yeah, small Cessna 172. Don't know what that is, but it's a small private plane, I assume, at Marana Regional Airport in Pima County, Arizona. It crashed during landing under adverse weather conditions with low visibility and gusty winds. So another plane crash. Now this is a small one. This isn't a commercial crash like we had. That one is wild from last week, guys. I'm sure you guys all saw that one in Toronto, the Delta. Let's pull that bad boy up. Let's pull up this Delta crash. This one was pretty wild. This guy was filming it right here. Let's pull this up.
Oh fuck! Oh fuck! Oh no 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 no!
You can hear the Canadian in his voice. Oh no 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 no! Canadian accent.
Tower, you're seeing this airplane just crash into three.
So I have a lot of questions.
Oh my god!
Let's play this back. Okay, let's turn off the sound. Let's play this back. So it's landing. It's Toronto. It's Canada. There's snow everywhere. So it's landing on a looks like, I don't know, snowy runway, but I'm sure they have it cleared. And then it hits, and then it like bellies up, and then it spins. So the wings come off. It goes on fire, and then it's upside down. Because the pictures were released of the plane upside down. Everybody's like, how did this get upside down? I've seen things where they say the pilot did this wrong, or some pilot posted on, I think it was X. He was like, oh, he did this wrong. I don't know. It's bizarre that all these things are happening. It's bizarre. Obviously, the flight in DC connected with the helicopter. It's just weird. A lot of these are happening. And America had been, I think, on commercial airliners, it had been fatality free for a long time. And suddenly we're getting all these. And of course, it's being politicized, of course. Right? You got all this talk of DEI, all this talk of all the budget cuts from Doge and Trump. I don't know what it is. What about all those drones? It has something to do with the drones. This feels like the movie. What was the movie with that I watched on Netflix that I liked? Basically, the end of time, where there's turmoil and they electronically shut everything down. What's that movie with Leave the World Behind with Ethan Hawke and Mahershala Ali? Pretty much butchering that one. I don't know how it's pronounced. That's how it feels like, right? Like everything's shutting down. Like, is that something to do with those drones? Is China doing this to us? Is somebody else? Are aliens involved? Are there people from a different planet doing this? Now, I wouldn't put the like the crash today on like to me, I think those happen. Those are fairly common with the small planes and these little airports, but these commercial airliners, like they don't really happen. That's what's so crazy. Something's up. Is somebody doing this on purpose? I mean, I just went through all these different range of options. Everybody wants to point their fingers. The question I have for you guys, I was thinking, are plane crashes the new school shootings, the new mass shootings? Because it feels like those happen all the time, and they probably do. I don't know what the statistics are on mass shootings or school shootings in the United States. They happen way too often. I think we'd all agree on that. Are plane crashes the new school shootings? And then we just grow immune to it like we have to the school shootings, which is also insane, right? Or are we just like, hey, cool, another plane crash today in Bristol, Connecticut. 2 weeks later, oh man, there was a 100-person passenger fatality on a crash in Plano, Texas. I don't know. Like, is that what it's going to be? And just like the school shootings, is it going to always be politicized? And then nothing gets done and nothing gets figured out? Because the plane, I know they have a great track record and they have a great history, especially with the black box and the FAA of safety. In fact, I read a great book on that. Black box, I think it's called Black Box Thinking. I read it like 5 or 6 years ago, but it kind of goes back into how they did the regulations and the rules and with the FAA and the black box and all that. But yeah, I don't know. That's why I say our plane crash is going to become the new school shootings. I mean, that thing that I just saw in Toronto that I showed you was wild. And then there's the video of them getting out. I don't know if you guys have seen this. I'll pull this up. The video of them getting out of that plane is pretty nuts because, again, the plane's upside down. And thank God everybody lived. There was no, to my knowledge, any fatalities, maybe some injuries. Look at this. This is wild.
Anything, drop it. Come on.
By the way, I love Becky being like, everybody drop everything. Put down your phones. We are in emergency status. Put it down. Sir, you over there? You over there with the iPhone 13? Put it down. We're not filming. We are upside down. We are on the runway. Put it down, sir. Thank you for flying Delta Airlines.
Don't take your video. Put that phone away.
No. Put that phone away. Look at this.
Holy fuck. Holy fuck.
So here's my thing as he's saying that. Like, did he not realize that they were upside down? What would it be like to be in a flight like that? Like, is he just now getting the visual of what he just walked out of, seeing a commercial airliner upside down? It's pretty nuts.
Fuck. Oh my fucking God.
Who's the surfer, bro?
Yo, I was just on this fucking plane.
It's like a 25-year-old Andy Ruther just leaving a plane right there.
Oh my God.
It is pretty nuts.
Yo, I was just on this fucking plane. Holy
It's
fuck.
totally me. That's wild, man. That's absolutely nuts, right? That happened. I don't know, but they gotta figure something out because this seems it seems like it's a little too prevalent. It's happened too many times. It's like, but again, I'm like, I don't want to fly, man. I never liked to fly to begin with. I was in like a 4-seater once, which is crazy because looking back on that, I was like, man, I would be. My brother did that. My brother Brad had a pilot license, and I went up with him in Cincinnati when he was in college. I went up with him and another guy and my little brother. Like, I wouldn't do that now. I wouldn't go up in a little four-seater. Right? I think those are the ones that are more common to have bad accidents. Fun fact about that brother, he got his pilot's license before he got his driver's license. How insane is that? True story. Got his pilot's license before his driver's license. And I remember the first time he flew solo. And it was starting to get dark at night and he was flying solo. I think he had to be 17. He didn't have his driver's license yet, but he got his pilot's license. And we went down to the airport. My mom was so terrified, man. She was so terrified. We were down there to support him because I think that was the final step for him to get his pilot's license. He was a kid in high school, probably a junior or something. Again, didn't even have his driver's license yet. Was flying a plane solo. Pretty badass if you think about it. Like, I don't really think about that too much, but now that I'm remembering it, that's a pretty boss move. That's a pretty badass move to get your that. That's a brag moment right there. That's on your dating profile. If you're trying to date, you're on an app. That's like a move where you just pull your junk out and put it on the table in front of anybody. Doesn't matter. Girl, guy, work. That's the equivalent of pulling your junk out, being like, dude, I got my pilot's license before I got my driver's license. But I remember my mom was terrified, man. And as a kid, I didn't really get it. I was probably like 11 years old, 10 years old. You don't really grasp the situation at all. But these wrecks and these crashes, again, like, it doesn't make me feel comfortable about flying. It just doesn't. Doesn't make me feel comfortable. I don't know what the solution is. I don't have an answer for that. And I'm probably not going to fly anytime soon. Not because of this, but just because I don't have anything planned. I've actually flown. I've only flown, like, I think one time in like the last almost 4 years. This is the least amount of flying I've done since I took my first flight. By far the least amount of flying. Well, that's out of the way. I want to just cover that. Get that out of the way. Kind of just share that I really do think, again, is this going to become the new school shootings? This is going to become the new United States mass shooting, where everybody's just like, oh, another one. Cool. Let's thoughts and prayers. And some people are blaming some people, and other people are blaming other people, and then it's all politicized, and we're like, cool, nothing gets done. That's fun. Can we talk about these young kids who got this food podcast? Can we talk about that for a minute? That's what I want to talk about. I saw this clip on Twitter, or X. We'll call it X. I saw this clip and I was cracking up. And I know people have talked about this. I Googled it and it seems like people have talked about it. The Maryland Foodie Boyz. Have you guys seen these kids? I don't know. What are they? 13, 14-year-old? It's like 4 white kids. They talk about food. I love this. I absolutely love this. It's like 4 kids testing food, and they sound like every 13 or 14-year-old white kid. I'm like, this is me in the 8th grade. This is them talking about pizza toppings.
Your favorite topping on a pizza?
If I had to choose, it'd probably be like pepperoni, but I'm just a regular cheese guy.
Yeah. I just do cheese. I don't do. Yeah, I just do cheese. I don't really like pepperoni. It's kind of a weird taste.
All right, so we got. So we love this. These kids are just so basic. So you got 3 of them who are like, you're choosing toppings on pizza. They're all like, we just want cheese.
I'll do pepperoni, but same thing. Like,
Yeah.
A lot of people are big pepperoni fans.
I think meat lovers too. I have meat lovers a couple times.
I'm not a big fan of it. I'm not a big fan of like the sausage in general.
I've never had a meat lovers.
Like, that's it. Like that's their podcast. They just like talk about food, and it's just, again, it's just a normal conversation with 4 kids that are like 13 or 14, and they're just doing their thing, man. Which is no different. By the way, that's no different than conversations I would have with my friends now, or I would do on a podcast now, where you sit there and rate and debate different foods and fast food restaurants. I think it's great. So then, of course, I went down a rabbit hole. Let's just pull up some of their videos. Let me just share the screen. I got their TikTok in front of me. Again, it's MD Foodie Boyz. So MD FOODIE Boyz BOYZ. And it's just, again, I think it's great. These kids are funny. They're not even trying to be funny, but like it's funny to me. And they're just kids. What was the one where they talking about dry rub? I saw one. Where was it? Oh yeah, they were talking about wings, and they're like debating what dry rub is.
The dry rub wing, isn't that a thing like dry rub?
There's no sauce on it, so
It's just like old. It's like,
Yeah,
it's
it's
like,
seasoning,
like
yeah. Oh, we forgot about the Old Bay wings.
A few minutes later.
First Old Bay wing. It's pretty good. A lot of Old Bay on mine.
I do like to have like a sauce on it, but the dry rub isn't that.
That's the Old Bay wings ever have sauce on them.
If you get like honey Old Bay,
Yeah. The dry
That's just great. It's just see kids talking about wings, talking about dry rub. They're just doing their thing, man. Let me scroll through. I'm just trying to see which ones got the most views. And kudos to these kids. They got a great little following. You know, I pulled up their Instagram. They got 85,000 Instagram followers. Now, I know there's a lot of people out there like me that are talking about them, which again means they're doing something right. It's such an interesting age we live in. We're just like 4 kids, 4 buddies, it looks like, can sit down and just shoot the shit about food. And I think it's great. I think it's great. Let's pull up another one. I haven't watched a lot. Let's talk about Belgian waffles and waffles, it looks like. Let's see what it has to say.
Is there a difference between like regular waffles and then Belgian waffles? Is there
I
a
don't know.
difference?
I think they're like Belgian waffles like usually like fluffier. Like,
Yeah.
they're bigger.
I've had Belgian waffles before. They're good.
Yeah.
In your guys' pancakes, do you like blueberries or like chocolate chips or anything?
Chocolate chips.
plain.
Chocolate
But-
chips. Is there a difference between like regular waffles and then Belgian waffles?
Dude, these kids are great. These kids are absolutely amazing. So this goes back to my point I always make. Like, why do these kids want to move to Hollywood? You know, I've said this a few episodes ago. Dude, if you can build a following with your buddies, wherever, I assume they live in Maryland, they're called the MD Foodie Boyz. If you can build a following with your buddies on YouTube and TikTok and Instagram, and obviously this is being shared everywhere now. I saw it on Twitter. Somebody grabbed their clip and they shared it on Twitter. Why would you move to Hollywood? They're already getting people sending them food. They're going to start getting endorsements. They're going to start earning money. They're going to be influencers. They're going to be content creators. Why would you move? Why would you move to Hollywood? You tell me why. Like, tell me a reason besides, again, the traditional movies or TV or any of that stuff. Because I can't think of one. You get to work for yourself. You get to hang out with your boys. You get to eat food. Dude, if this was around when I was in 8th grade, oh my God, I would have loved it. I would have absolutely loved it if I had this when I was in 8th grade. And you know what's great? These guys are just being real. They're just being real. They're not trying to be funny. They're not trying to be interesting. They're just like, hey, man, you like pepperoni pizza? Or whatever they do. Hey, you know, what are your favorite types of tacos? You know, these kids are pretty basic, so I don't even know if they eat tacos. But it's just like they're learning stuff and they're talking about like, oh, this is what a rub is. What is that? Like just without a sauce on my wings? Why would you move to Hollywood? And my second thing is like, why would you go to college? Why? Like I see these videos and I might say to myself, there's no reason for kids like this to go to college. Now, look, if you want to have maybe a social life, I don't even know how it is, but that's the only reason that's my reason for college now at this point. Social life, maybe friends, acquaintances, join groups, student organizations, maybe to learn and get away from your parents, learn independence. Those are all great things. So that's where I would view it. But like as far as education wise, I mean, what does college do for you? Like, look, what am I doing? I was a double in English and secondary education. You know, I do podcasts. I got into comedy, radio, writing, all those things. And college is just it's so expensive. It's so expensive. I can't believe people just continue to pay for that. Like that's what blows my mind about college. Nobody just says, "Nah, I'm not paying for this. This is ridiculous." Families don't just put their foot down and just go, "No." Like I have a college fund for Isla, and we'll have one for Molly. I put some of my money in every week into a fund. I'm sorry, every month into a fund. But then again, I look at that and that's gonna accumulate over time and it's being invested and all those things. But I just say like at the end of the day, if there's this many thousands of dollars that she could have for college, where is that better used? I don't know. Now with the fund I'm in, it's not taxable. You can put in the state of Ohio, you can put in up to $4,000 a year where they can't tax you, but it has to be used for education. It could be used for any education. It could be used actually for grade school, high school, college, but it has to be used for education. I don't know if you don't. I don't know how it works. I should ask my guy at a certain point. But you know, if she didn't go to college, like how withdrawing that funds would be and how it would work. But my point is, guys, like what is college? College was great for me. It was great because I met my best friends in college. We got a group of guys that we're still so tight with. Socially, it was great. I got to go to school about 6 hours away from where I lived. So you learn independence, you learn how to get away from your parents, all those things. That was important for me. That was good for me. Maturity, growth, building lifelong relationships, learning how to basically live on your, not really live on your own, but you know, a sense of independence, a sense of that. But not for the price now. That's what I'm saying. Like, not for the price. Like, what is the tuition? I went to St. Louis University. What is the tuition for St. Louis University? Let's see. This is insane. This is insane. Full-time resident on campus, $54,760. $54,760. Now multiply that by 4. That's over 200 grand. Over 200 grand to get a degree. And imagine if you're like me. A degree in English and secondary education. Now you're guaranteed a job as a teacher. They always need teachers. They're always hiring for teachers. So for me, there's job security. But imagine paying that back if you don't have scholarships. By the way, that's just tuition, guys. Housing, $15,280. Books and supplies, $1,070. Transportation, miscellaneous. Total cost of attendance. Total cost of attendance for the year, they're estimating it $77,110. Get fucked. That's all I'll say about that. Like, get fucked. Seriously. You want $77,000 to attend your like decently good but not great liberal arts college? Get fucked. That's how I feel about all that. Like, I will never give a dime to St. Louis University. Never. Sorry. And I had great times there. And again, I met great friends and great memories. And I got to travel abroad for St. Louis University, Madrid. And I have all those great things. You're assholes. That's what you are. You're trying to call, 77,000. And I don't remember what it was. I should pull it up. I should have had it handy when I went. I was fortunate. I was on a scholarship. So like I was fortunate. I didn't graduate with that much debt. Like my student loans after 5 years of college, I only owed, which is funny. I only owed like $23,000, $22,000 or something like that. I was getting about 11 to 12 grand a year in a scholarship, an academic scholarship, and I had some financial aid. My dad paid for, it wasn't anywhere near this. Is my point. It wasn't anywhere near this. It's insane. $77,000. Like if Isla said she wanted to go to St. Louis University and she couldn't get discounts, she couldn't get financial aid, she couldn't get scholarships, I'd say, yeah, funny. That's hilarious. No, not happening. Just become a Maryland foodie boy, become a Ohio foodie girl. Rate all the chili parlors around Cincinnati. Taste test every cheese coney in the 52 or whatever locations we have in Cincinnati that offers Cincinnati style chili. I just think it's ridiculous. It's just utterly ridiculous. I got a call last year from some girl trying to get money from St. Louis University. And I just said, what's tuition? And she tells me the time. And I just say, I'm not giving money until you guys lower the cost. Like you should be angry as a student for what you're paying. It's absurd. I think it's one of those things that like nobody really talks about. This country is so weird in that regard. Like nobody talks about just obvious things. I've been on this rant complaining about how much childcare is, and just nobody talks about it. Like nobody. And that worked its way into dirty sports this week. And there's a Reddit forum going on about it. And it's just like nobody talks about it. You don't know until you know when you have kids how expensive it is. You don't know. And like, you don't realize how much that income or how much of your income you're paying. Right? If you have 2 kids in daycare, it's basically a second mortgage, which is insane. A second mortgage? You're basically paying a second mortgage. And I don't know. Like, I would love to have somebody on to talk about this. What are all the costs? I'm sure the insurance premiums are through the roof to run a daycare. What are all the costs? You're paying for your workers, insurance premiums, maintenance. Obviously, the place has to be in good shape, both physically, cleanliness, all that stuff. You have rules, you have laws, you have probably random checks with the State Department, all those things. I'm sure you have to sink a lot of capital and a lot of straight cash, homie, to quote Randy Moss, into that. But it's just like, what are people supposed to do? And like college, nobody talks about it. Nobody. It's pretty wild. No politicians from either side are like, hey, do you guys think it should be $35,000 a year to send 2 kids to daycare? Like, what are we doing? What are we doing about that? Nobody's talking about it. Nobody's talking about maybe possible better tax breaks or maybe trying to make this system a little more efficient. Where you at in that one, Doge? That's all I'm saying. Where you at? Where you at on that one? Where you at in college tuition? I feel like a lot of these problems have easy solutions. Well, the college one is easy. People just will stop going. They'll do the Maryland, the Foodie Boyz. That's how this all got started. I was talking about them, and then here we are. I'm just ranting and raving about all this stuff. But you guys get my point. I can't complain about my college experience because I had great experiences. I love my friends. Shout out to all my homies. from St. Louis U. I don't think you're worth 77 grand a year. I'm just gonna be honest. You're not worth $77,000 a year. And the bigger question is, does that degree, even when you go to like an Ivy League school or a big name school like a Notre Dame or a Northwestern or a Vanderbilt, does it still hold the same cachet that it did 10, 15, 20, 25 years ago? Maybe it does. Maybe it does when you go on LinkedIn. Maybe it does when you graduate. I don't know. I don't know if it holds the same cachet, but I'm just saying if it doesn't, it's definitely not worth the money, especially when things are in demand that now pay even better. Skill positions, electricians, plumbers, contractors. Those positions are way more important than people like me who graduated with a degree in English. That's the one thing that nobody talks about, I feel. Again, another thing that people don't talk about much. Like, those are great jobs because AI can't fix your bathroom. AI can't build you a deck. AI can't fix your roof. So those skill positions have become way more important, and those guys are making way more money. And you're kind of their bitch, to be honest. I always talk to my neighbor about that. We always laugh. As far as contractors from work we've had done or things we've had done to our houses, because it's like, dude, what are you gonna do? To quote the Reds owner, what are you gonna do? Where are you gonna go? Like, he was having a bathroom redone and they were taking forever. And they wouldn't show up a lot of days. And the project just went on and on. And he's like, dude, what am I gonna do? Because he's like, there's less of them out there, and it's a skill position. The demand for them is so much higher. They can get any job they want. They can, they have so many people who are needing work done and so few people who know how to do it themselves. Like, nobody's handy. I'm the most unhandy guys. Like, don't even get me started how unhandy I am, especially since I didn't own a home, until I was 41 years old. It's like, I don't know how to do anything. I mean, it's a joke with my brothers. It's a joke with Brittany. Like, that's like, I can't do shit. Now, there's YouTube, which is great. I can use YouTube. I can maybe learn some things, but like, I'm terrible. I just sometimes I'm like, I just miss my window, right? I can't do anything. But those guys, they can do that stuff, is my point. I can do the basics. I grew up the whole time I was living in an apartment in LA. You had a problem, you just called the maintenance office. They sent up a Mexican dude. That's the truth. Oh, they're gonna fix your toilet. Oh, they're gonna fix what's wrong with your sink. They're gonna do all that stuff. I didn't learn it. I didn't have to. But the point is, those jobs are great now, and they're good paying jobs, and they're great skills to have. Or you can go to St. Louis U and pay 77 grand and, like, I don't know. I don't know. That's all I'm saying. But I love the Foodie Boyz. That's the point of all this. I love the Maryland Foodie Boyz. Those kids are hilarious, and they're just kids being kids, man. I mean, that's what I'll do. That's all. I'm gonna hinge my career on producing a podcast with my kids. Just produce a podcast for them and have them talk about kid things when they can actually start talking, and just ride their coattails. Just be that dad who just rides his kids' coattails. I mean, it's insane though. Like, with the kids stuff, like, wasn't one of the biggest YouTuber kid who just opened up toys? He just reviewed toys on YouTube. His parents are just counting money. His parents are just making it rain in their basement. Wasn't that kid Ryan? What was his name? He just reviewed toys. Yeah. He's 13 now. He reviews toys on his channel for kids. The dude's net worth is over $100 million. $100 million. He just reviews toys. It's now called Ryan's World. It was formerly Ryan's Toys Review. And he just reviews toys. This kid's worth over $100 million. Why is he going? So that's my point. Don't go to college. Don't go to college. 77 grand. Kiss my ass. Where's that money going? That's what I want to. Guys, where is that money going? Can Doge go in there too? But that's my line. By the way, the you can clearly see I'm really milking the Doge jokes because I think they're funny because everybody has like such an opinion on it. But I just use it in like a generic form, and half the times people don't get it. Like after gymnastics on Saturday, they didn't have lollipops. They always have lollipops for Isla's class. Always. That's what the kids look forward to the most. They love gymnastics. They love the trampolines. They love all that stuff. But the two things the kids love the most after class, right? They're 1.5 to 3 years old. They're just little toddlers. They love the hand stamp on their hand, and they love the lollipops. They didn't have the lollipops this week. So I'm sitting there like, oh man, Doge really came in here and cut the cost, huh? Doge just cracking down. I was like, did Doge hit the toddler gymnastics class? No one laughed. Guys, I made the joke probably 3 times. No one laughed once. I just kept doing it. I made the joke to the high school girls who run the class who have no clue what Doge is. I made the joke to the parents who either don't know or just thought it wasn't funny. But I kept doing it. Again, that's my new thing. Anytime anything's cut or anytime they get rid of something, I'm like, man, Doge came through here. No one is spared with Doge. Because that's what I do. I will just take a joke and literally squeeze it like a sponge as much out of it as I can until I just won't stop. I still do O.J. Simpson jokes. I still love them. They're still funny to me. Okay, guys, I got a hotline. You can call it 859. Let's pull it up. 935-0078. That is the hotline for the Andy Ruther Show. Always in the description of the episode. You can rate and review the podcast. That is available on both Apple and Spotify. Those are always appreciated. Helps the show, helps the algorithm, all those things. All right, guys. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. We'll see you guys next Wednesday. I can't talk. Next Wednesday. Much love and peace.